Welcome to part 2 of Toby the Pig tutorial. For the ears, we're going to start off by making a magic ring. So go ahead and take your pink yarn and wrap it around your top 3 fingers like this. You're going to create an X on one side and 2 parallel lines on the other side, and then grab it with your pinky finger like so. Then you're going to take your crochet hook, go under the first loop and over top the second, bringing the second loop under the first. Then twist your hook and grab that yarn and pull it through. If you need a slow version, don't worry, I'm going to show you this again in slow motion. If you're still having trouble with the magic ring, I do have a separate tutorial link down below that you can watch as well. This is the trickiest part to learning how to crochet animals, so if you don't get it on the first try, don't worry. Then you're going to place 4 single crochets into your magic ring. Just make sure you are single crocheting over top both the tail and the circle piece. Otherwise, you won't be able to pull your magic ring shut. So once you have your 4 single crochets, should look like this, and then as you can see, we've got that tail piece that we can now slide shut. And again, if this takes you a few tries, not to worry, this is the trickiest part about learning how to crochet. For round 2, we are going to increase all the way around, so we are going to place our first increase of the round in that very first stitch. It can be tricky to insert your hook here because it can be a little bit tight. So we are doing 1 single crochet and then going in for our second single crochet. And then go ahead and mark that very first stitch that we did, which is going to be the second stitch away from your working loop. And now we can continue increasing all the way around. For round 3, we can remove our stitch marker and make our first single crochet of the round. Then we are going to place another single crochet and another single crochet, and then we are going to make an increase here. And then single crochet, single crochet, single crochet, and ending on an increase. That's going to take our stitch count up from 8 to 10. And now this is it for increasing. For rounds 4, 5, and 6, we are just going to single crochet in every stitch around. So make your first stitch of round 4 and then mark that stitch. Then we are going to continue making a single crochet in every stitch around. You should still have 10 single crochets. For round 5, we are also going to be making 1 single crochet in each stitch around for a total of 10 stitches at the end. We're now on our last round. And again, we are just making one single crochet in every stitch around. Now that we're done with the ear, we're going to remove our stitch marker and just make a slip stitch to make the ending a little bit neater. So insert your hook into the next available stitch and pull the yarn all the way through all the loops on your hook. Then leave a tail about 15 inches or so for sewing. Don't forget to weave in your middle tail end, and you're going to want to make 2 of these ears. For the tail, we are going to start off by making a slip knot. So in order to do that, you're just going to twist the yarn onto itself like this and then pull the working yarn through. If you need to see that in a different way, here it is. So making kind of a figure 8 with your yarn. And then you're going to take that loop and fold it back over the working yarn. And then pull the working yarn through the circle. And that makes a slip knot. For the tail, we are going to chain 6. To make a chain, all you do is yarn over and pull through the loop on your hook. So like this, you're going to yarn over and pull through. That is 1 chain. Yarn over, pull through. 2. Yarn over, pull through. 3. Yarn over, pull through. 4. Yarn over, pull through. 5. And one more time, yarn over, pull through. That is 6. The loop on your hook does not count as a chain stitch. So when we say starting in the second chain from the hook, you count this one and then you skip it and go to the next one. So in the second chain from your hook, you're going to insert your hook and make 3 single crochets. That's 1, 2, and 3. Then you're going to make 2 single crochets in each of these remaining chains down. So another 2. And another 2. And very last one, another 2. That's all there is for the tail, and as you can see here, if you twist it with your fingers, it should kind of spiral into a little piggy tail. And then we're just going to sew that right on the back of the pig. So you can trim the yarn. I leave about 8 inches or so for sewing, and then just pull the yarn through the loop. And that's it for the tail. Next we're going to make the snout. For the snout, you're going to take your dark pink yarn and you're going to start off by making a magic ring. If you need more instruction on the magic ring, you can watch the beginning of the video again, or you can go to the tutorial link down below. We are going to place 6 single crochets in our magic ring. That's 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then we are going to pull this ring shut. There's only 2 rounds for the snout, so the next round will be the last round. Place your first single crochet of round 2 and then mark that stitch. Next, we are going to place an increase. Then single crochet and increase. Single crochet and increase. Now you should have 9 stitches in this round. Now you can remove your stitch marker, and we're going to finish the snout off by making a slip stitch. Insert your hook in the next stitch and then yarn over and pull through all the loops on your hook. And then leave a tail about 10 or 12 inches for sewing. Then fasten off and don't forget to weave in your tail. To start off the assembly of the pig, I'm going to start with the snout. So thread your yarn needle with the pink yarn and tuck the tail in underneath like so. It's easier if you trim it a bit as well. And then place the snout in the middle of the eyes. To stitch it on, all you're going to do is poke your needle into one side of the body and then out through a stitch of the nose. Just like so. And then pull really tight when you're done. And then for the next stitch, into the body and out through the nose. Just make sure as you're sewing along that it stays very centered and it doesn't move around on you. And don't forget to go through every single stitch of the snout. Once you have both ears done, you can sew them on as well. And I like to sew them laying flat on the top. So I sew them on like this, but if you want to sew them straight up, you totally could. But I'm going to sew them flat, and I do it just one stitch off the center. And then same principle applies, just go through one stitch of the body and then come out through both sides of the ear. And just make sure you go through every single stitch. Sometimes I like to go backwards once I'm done and stitch it again just to make sure it's extra secure. Then do the exact same thing on the other side with the other ear. And last but not least, we have our little piggy tail. Just make sure you're sewing it directly in the middle of the pig, on the back side, centered between the ears. And I like to do mine probably 4 rounds or so up from the bottom. Basically, if you were to sit the pig on a table, I sew the tail on right where the bum would meet the table. The tail is super easy to sew on, you only need a few stitches here. To secure the ends really well, I'm going to double knot them and then I'm going to weave in my ends. The last step of the pig is to embroider on some black little lines for the nose. And to do this, you just poke your yarn needle through 2 holes in the snout. Just like so, one on the bottom, one on the top. Put your yarn needle all the way through. Like so. And then go over those exact same holes that you just did. And I'm going to pop my yarn needle going out the other side of the snout so I can make the same line on the other side. When you're doing this, it's really important to pick 2 holes that are symmetrical on both sides of your snout so that your nose doesn't look a little bit wonky. As you can see here, I had to reposition my black yarn to make sure that it was symmetrical. And then I'm just popping that one back in the top of the snout and up through the head. Next, I'm going to take the other tail piece and have it come out the exact same hole that the other black piece is coming out of. Now that they're coming out of the same hole, we can knot them and then secure them in place by cutting the yarn and stuffing it back into the head. I hope you guys enjoyed September's Yarny Box tutorial. Please tag me on Instagram at YarnyBox so that I can see all your Toby the pigs. And I'll see you in October for a very special and festive Yarny Box.